Did you know that nearly 30% of Christian celebrities have openly struggled with alcohol addiction despite their fame and faith? From Robert Downey Jr.'s wild years to Mel Gibson's personal torment, here are 30 Christian celebrities who were drunk all the time. 1. Robert Downey Jr. He had everything: fame, money, and talent. But alcohol was always close to Robert Downey Jr. In the 1990s and early 2000s, his life started to fall apart. He crashed cars, got arrested, and ended up in places he didn't remember. People stopped hiring him. Directors didn't want to work with him. Insurance companies wouldn't cover him. One judge said he couldn't stop drinking, no matter how hard he tried. Alcohol had taken over. It controlled his life. There didn't seem to be a way out. But then something changed. It wasn't big or loud. It started small. He began to pray. He believed in something greater than himself. He didn't tell the world about his faith. He just kept it in his heart. Slowly, day by day, he got stronger. He went to rehab, found support, and trusted in God. He said that letting go of control helped him heal. 2. Elvis Presley. He sang about love and heartbreak. But behind the songs, Elvis Presley was fighting a hard battle. From a young age, faith was part of his life. He grew up hearing gospel music and reading the Bible. He prayed and believed in God. But even with faith, he felt pain. After his mother died and he got divorced, Elvis turned to pills and alcohol. He started drinking more. Sometimes he disappeared for days. Other times, he was too drunk to sing well. His team tried to hide the truth. They cleaned him up and pushed him to perform, but the signs were there. 3. Jackie Chan. He could jump off roofs, break bricks with his hands, and light up the screen with one smile. But behind the cameras, Jackie Chan was hurting. At the top of his career, Jackie wasn't happy. He was drowning inside. He turned to alcohol. He drank to forget how tired and lonely he felt. He drank to push away the guilt of missing family time, fights, and sleepless nights. Sometimes he drank so much he came to work with a hangover. Other times he disappeared, lost in the fog of drinking and sadness. Fame crushed him. He wasn't just a movie star. He was a boss, a stuntman, and a leader. Everyone asked him for something. No one saw how sad he really was. Then one night, it almost ended. He crashed his car while drunk. It was almost the end. That moment made him stop and look at his life. He knew he needed to change, so he went back to old habits, but the good ones. He started praying again. He reached out to his family. He pulled himself away from the edge. 4. Mel Gibson. He stood tall in front of the cameras. Fans screamed his name, but inside, Mel Gibson was falling apart. His hands, once strong with swords and scripts, now shook after years of drinking. One night, flashing police lights showed the truth. That night told the world something had been wrong for a long time. He didn't drink to party. He drank to forget. He drank to stop the pain inside. His faith wasn't gone, but it was covered by anger and sadness. People saw his mistakes, his bad words, and his career falling apart. But behind those news stories was a man lost and scared. At his worst, he thought about ending his life. He didn't think there was a way out. But then, in the middle of all that pain, something changed. It wasn't rehab or fame that helped him. It was something deeper. He went back to church. He prayed again. He found strength in silence, in saying sorry, in asking for help. 5. Justin Bieber. He was just a teenager when the world found him. He had music, money, and millions of fans. It all came so fast. At first, it felt amazing, but after a while, it felt like a cage. When the shows ended and the lights went out, Justin didn't feel happy. He felt stuck and lost. To escape the pressure, he started drinking. He went to wild parties. He tried to drown out the noise in his head. Soon, the news was full of his mistakes. He yelled, he got into trouble, he made a mess. People laughed or called him a bad person, but inside, he was just a young man who felt scared and alone. Justin had grown up going to church. He used to feel peace there, but fame took him far from that life. One night, he was arrested while driving too fast. That night was his wake-up call. He later said he didn't even know who he had become. That moment changed him. He didn't run back to the stage. He ran back to faith. He started going to church again. He talked to pastors. He sang not just for fans, but for something bigger. He stopped drinking. He prayed again. This time, it felt real. 6. Jim Caviezel. Before Jim played Jesus in a famous movie, he was struggling. On the outside, he looked successful, but inside, he felt lost. He drank to hide the pain. He smiled for the cameras, but he was sad and confused. Each acting role made him feel more empty. Jim had grown up with strong faith. But in Hollywood, faith can be hard to hold on to. He didn't want to give it up, but he also didn't know how to keep it. So he kept drinking to push down the questions in his heart. Then he got a call to play Jesus. The filming was very hard. He was cold, hurt, and tired. The pain in the movie felt like the pain in his real life. But something started to change. He felt peace again. He felt love, not fear. During filming, he stopped drinking, not because someone told him to, but because he didn't need it anymore. He started praying again. He found new strength in silence. That movie didn't just help his job, it helped his soul. Bradley Cooper. Before he became a big star, Bradley Cooper was struggling. He wasn't slipping on red carpets, but he was falling behind closed doors. He drank too much. It wasn't fun drinking. It was the kind where you wake up and don't remember where you were or what you did. His days were full of anger and confusion. The bottle became something he used to hide how he really felt. He didn't drink to have a good time. He drank to forget. There was something inside him that hurt, and he didn't know how else to deal with it. Alcohol was like a broken crutch, and each drink took him farther from who he really was. By the time he was in his late 20s, he felt like he was losing control. But before he hit rock bottom, he made a big change. At 29, without a big accident or scandal, he decided to stop. No more alcohol, no more hiding. It wasn't just about stopping drinking. It was about changing his life. He found peace in quiet moments, in prayer, and in the feeling that he wasn't alone. He didn't tell the world about his change. He worked on himself quietly, one day at a time. Now, when you see him act, you can see something deeper in his eyes. He seems calm, even under pressure. He says being sober helps him live with purpose and clarity, not just as an actor, but as a dad, a friend, and a man who believes in something bigger than himself. 8. Anthony Hopkins. He was great on stage, but inside, Anthony Hopkins felt lost. Even when he became famous, he had already been drinking for years. I wasn't happy drinking. It came from sadness. Day after day, drink after drink, the emptiness inside him kept getting worse. He drank alone and often didn't know how he got home. He smiled for the cameras, but he felt empty. The awards and the cheers didn't mean anything to him. Inside, he felt like he was drowning. Not even the people closest to him could help. One morning in the mid-1970s, he looked in the mirror and didn't know who he was. He asked himself a big question. Who are you? That moment changed something. Soon after, he went to a meeting and said a quiet, desperate prayer. He didn't know who or what he was praying to, but he felt an answer. Not in words, but in a quiet peace. It was something he hadn't felt in a long time. From that day on, he didn't drink again. 9. Mark Wahlberg. He had a hard start in life. By age 13, Mark Wahlberg was already drinking. In his neighborhood, being tough was the only way to survive. Drinking became part of that, but it made things worse. His teen years were full of fights, trouble, and mistakes. By 17, things got very bad. He went to prison after hurting someone. That time in prison made him stop and think. For the first time, he asked himself big questions. He started to pray. He read books. He sat quietly and listened. He began to believe that he could change. It wasn't easy. People didn't trust him. He had to work hard every day to do better. He stopped drinking. He started each day with prayer. He chose discipline instead of comfort. Slowly, he became someone new. Today, Wahlberg is a big star in Hollywood, but what really matters to him is his faith. He goes to church every day. He talks about fasting and putting God first. He knows he is not perfect, but he is sure of one thing: without faith, he would still be lost. 10. Alec Baldwin. He looked like he had it all: money, fame, and charm. But Alec Baldwin was hiding a big problem. He drank too much, not just at parties, but all the time. He drank to forget who he was. Drinking made him angry and hard to work with. Even though he was a star, he felt empty inside. At 27, he reached a breaking point. He knew he had to stop drinking or lose everything. So, he chose to stop. That choice saved his life. Quitting alcohol was hard, but it was only the first step. He needed something more. He found it in quiet moments, in prayer, and in faith. He didn't talk about it loudly, but it gave him strength. It helped him become steady again. Now, Baldwin has been sober for more than 30 years. He tells his story to help others. He wants people to know that change is possible. He says faith gave him his life back, and maybe it can help someone else too. 11. Shia LaBeouf. He was called the wild child of Hollywood. Shia LaBeouf had talent, but also a lot of pain. When he was young, he started drinking every day, not for fun, but to stop the pain in his head. He wanted to forget the bad things from his past, but drinking didn't help. It made everything worse. He got into fights. He was arrested. He yelled at strangers. One night, during a breakdown, he said he wanted to die. He was famous, but inside he felt empty. Then something changed. He was picked to play a saint in a movie. The saint's name was Padre Pio. To get ready, Shia lived in a monastery. He read the Bible. He went to church. At first, it was just for the role, but soon he started to feel calm. He cried while reading. He saw the broken boy inside himself. He saw that he wasn't alone. He didn't have to carry all the pain forever. He found faith. He found peace. 12. Russell Brand. He lived a crazy life. Russell Brand drank, smoked, used hard substances, and partied all the time. He was trying to escape from his own pain. He said he felt empty. He didn't want to feel anything, so he kept using it. His life got worse. In 2003, he was fired from his job. He almost died. That's when he went to rehab. It was the first step to healing. But what really helped him wasn't just rehab, it was something deeper. He started reading holy books. He prayed. He meditated. He asked big questions about life and God. The teachings of Jesus touched his heart. Words like love, grace, and forgiveness helped him start again. Slowly, he became someone new. He stopped trying to die. He started trying to live. 13. Matthew Perry. He made people laugh on Friends, but inside, Matthew Perry was hurting. He drank all day, sometimes from morning to night. He looked fine on TV, but he was falling apart. He would wake up and not know where he was. His body hurt. His memory was weak. He didn't know if he would survive. He drank vodka like it was water. He took pills too, not for fun, but because he felt stuck. He couldn't stop. He once said it felt like being trapped in a burning house with no way out. One day, his body gave up. Part of his colon burst. The doctors said he had only a 2% chance to live. That night, he cried out to God, not to a doctor or friend, just to God. And something happened. He felt like he wasn't alone anymore. Faith gave him a rope to hold on to. He still had hard days, but now he had hope. He started helping others. He shared his story to help people find the light. 14. Tim Allen. He made people laugh on TV. Tim Allen had a funny voice and a silly face. Many people loved his show, but his real life was not funny. When he was young, he got in trouble for selling illegal substances. He went to jail. That should have scared him, but it didn't. Even after jail, he drank too much. He drank because he missed his dad. He drank because his past hurt. He wanted to feel something. He made jokes to hide the truth. The truth was, he felt lost. He had money and fame, but he felt empty. As time went on, he drank more. One day, he decided to get help. He went to rehab. There, something changed. He remembered the faith he had as a kid. He didn't know if he believed, but he wanted to try. So, he prayed. Faith didn't fix everything right away, but it gave him hope. He stopped drinking. He stopped acting like everything was fine. He started living again. Now he says God helped him get his life back. He still tells jokes, but now it comes from a deeper place. 15. Dennis Quaid. In the 1980s, Dennis Quaid was becoming a big star. He was good-looking and very talented. People liked him. But he had a secret. He drank every day. He hid bottles on movie sets. He acted like things were okay, but they weren't. Alcohol was hurting him. His life and his relationships were falling apart. Then one night, something scary happened. His heart raced. His chest hurt. He thought he was dying. He got scared. At that moment, he prayed. He hadn't prayed in a long time. It wasn't a fancy prayer. He just asked God to help him. Something changed that night. After that, Quaid stopped drinking. He started going to church. He even made music about God. He talks about how faith filled the emptiness he felt. He still acts in movies, but now he feels real joy. He is not just working, he is really living. 16. Stephen Baldwin. He had a lot. Stephen Baldwin was rich and famous. He was the youngest Baldwin brother and became a star fast. But when he was alone, he felt different. Alcohol was always with him. It was there at parties and on quiet nights. He didn't just drink for fun, he drank to fill the emptiness inside. His turning point happened at home. His wife believed in Jesus. She talked to him kindly about her faith. At first, he didn't care. He thought religion was just an idea. But her peace made him curious. He started reading the Bible. He prayed a little. He went to church. Soon, things began to change. He gave his life to God. He says it wasn't his own strength that saved him. It was God. He believes God took away his need for alcohol. Now he still lives in the spotlight, but his heart is full. He found real peace. 17. Christian Slater. He was once a big name. Christian Slater was liked by people, and movie directors wanted him in their films. He had a bright future, but then alcohol took over. In his 20s, he started drinking too much. He got into fights, got arrested, and lost roles. People stopped talking about his movies and started talking about his problems. Slater said he drank because he was scared. The more scared he felt, the more he drank. Rehab didn't help at first. Saying sorry wasn't enough. He couldn't stop. Things got really bad. Slater said it felt like falling into a deep, dark hole. He saw no way out. Then he started thinking about something bigger than himself. He learned about faith. At meetings, people talked about a higher power. That idea stayed with him. He began to pray and read the Bible. Slowly, he found hope. It didn't happen fast, but over time, he started to change. Faith helped him find a new path. 18. Gary Busey. He was loud and full of energy. Gary Busey became famous in the 70s and 80s, but behind the fame, he had problems. He drank a lot and used substances. His life was a mess. People stopped wanting to be around him. Then something terrible happened. In the late 80s, he crashed his motorcycle. He wasn't wearing a helmet and had been drinking. He hurt his brain badly. Later, he also overdosed. People thought that was the end, but Busey lived. After that, he began asking questions. What was the point of life? Could he really change? While he was healing, he started reading the Bible. He prayed and felt something new inside. It wasn't easy, and he still made mistakes. But faith gave him something stronger than alcohol. He gave his life to God. He believes God saved him from that dark time. 19. MC Hammer. He was once one of the biggest stars. MC Hammer had hit songs, cool dance moves, and lots of fans. He also had money and fame. But even with all that, he felt empty inside. When the music stopped and the fans left, he felt lonely. He had money, but no peace. The people around him didn't care about him, only what he could give. He was sad and confused. He started drinking not to have fun, but to forget the pain. One drink turned into many. He lost his money. People stopped talking about him. He didn't feel like himself anymore. The joy he had was gone. Alcohol took away his clear thoughts and his faith. He hit rock bottom. Then he looked up. His wife helped him, but he had to make the choice to change. He started reading the Bible again. He went back to church. He wanted to be a better man. Not MC Hammer the star, but someone who lived with faith. He stopped drinking to save his soul, not just his body. 20. Brian Head Welch. He lived in a world of loud music and wild nights. Brian Welch was the lead guitar player for the band Korn. On stage, he looked strong and happy, but inside, he was hurting. After each show, he drank and used substances. It didn't fix anything. The more he drank, the worse he felt. He started losing touch with his daughter and himself. He smiled on stage, but inside, he felt empty. In 2005, something big happened. Brian quit the band. He gave up fame and money. Many people thought he had gone crazy, but he was trying to find peace. He started reading the Bible. He asked Jesus for help. He stopped drinking right away. Slowly, his mind got clear again. He began to build a new life. He spent time with his daughter. He started to feel hope again. He didn't just stop drinking. He found something stronger than alcohol. He began sharing his story in books, churches, and places that help people recover. He spoke, not as a star, but as someone who was broken and then healed. 21. Craig Ferguson. Before Craig Ferguson made people laugh on TV, he was in trouble. He drank all the time. He would drink so much he couldn't remember where he was or what he had done. People thought he was funny, but inside, he was in pain. In the early 1990s, things got really bad. He even planned to end his life during the holidays. He thought the world would be better without him. But something changed. One morning, drunk and lost, he didn't find the bridge he was looking for. Instead, he found a quiet church. No one was there. It was silent. But in that silence, he started crying. Something gentle touched his heart. He didn't know what it was, but it saved him. He went to rehab. This time, he stayed. He got sober, and he stayed that way. Later, he found faith. He didn't preach or quote the Bible, but he believed God had helped him. His life changed for the better. 22. Jeff Bridges. He always looked calm and wise. Jeff Bridges had a kind smile and a soft voice. People thought he had a perfect life, but Jeff was hiding something. He was drinking a lot, not in public, but in quiet moments, at dinner, at home, or when he felt sad. He wasn't loud or wild, but the drinking never stopped. Alcohol followed him like a shadow. At first, it seemed small, but it grew bigger. He started feeling far away from his family and from himself. His heart felt heavy. He didn't know what was missing, but something felt wrong. There wasn't a big moment that changed him. It was a slow feeling that his soul was drifting. Then he got sick. People he loved passed away. The world got quiet. In that silence, Jeff prayed. He started reading and talking to God. Faith began to fill the empty space inside him. He stopped drinking. He began to heal. 23. Joe Esterhaus. He had it all. Joe Esterhaus had money, fame, and wild parties. He wrote big movies and lived like a star. He didn't believe in God and made fun of religion. He drank all day, every day. He thought it made him cool. He thought it helped him write better and party harder. Drinking wasn't just something he did. It was who he was, loud, proud, and drunk. He didn't care about being quiet or thinking deeply. But then in 2001, everything changed. Joe got throat cancer. He was scared. He was in pain. Lying in bed, he did something he never thought he would do. He prayed. He didn't use big words. He just asked for help. And something strange happened. He felt calm. It didn't make sense, but it changed him. He started reading the Bible. He went to church. He stopped drinking. He started to believe. Now Joe lives a quiet life. He is a Catholic, a husband, a father. He doesn't drink. He writes about his past not to brag, but to warn others. He used to hate God. Now he depends on Him. 24. Ernie Hudson. He was famous for chasing ghosts in movies. Ernie Hudson had sad memories of fighting. He grew up poor in Michigan. His mom died when he was a baby. That pain stayed with him. Even when he became a star, he still felt alone. He started drinking, not to have fun, but to forget. At first, it helped, but soon he felt nothing at all. He pulled away from the people he loved. Fame made things worse. He felt like he had to be perfect, but inside, he was falling apart. One day, Ernie got tired of being lost. He wanted peace, so he turned back to his faith. He started reading the Bible again. He prayed, he asked for help, and he found it. He stopped drinking. He faced his pain. He healed. Now Ernie talks about his journey. He helps others. He tells people not to hide their pain in a bottle, but to find hope through belief. He no longer runs from his past. He walks forward with faith. Tyson Fury. He was a boxing champion. Tyson Fury looked like he had it all, but inside, he was falling apart. After beating a top fighter, the crowd cheered, but he felt empty. Fame didn't fix him. He drank every day. He got so big, he could barely move. His life was out of control. One day, he drove his car to a bridge, ready to end everything. But then he heard a voice. He said it was God. That moment stopped him. He fell to his knees and prayed, not with fancy words, but from a broken heart. He started reading the Bible. He stopped drinking. He got healthy again. His mind became clear. He didn't just get strong again. He found peace. 26. Wynonna Judd. She was a famous singer with a strong voice and a big smile. Wynonna Judd looked like her life was perfect. She had hit songs, big concerts, and gold records. But inside, she was hurting. Her father had died. Her relationships didn't work, and she felt like she had to be perfect all the time. To deal with the pain, she started drinking. Not with friends, not at parties. She drank alone, in the dark. A little to help her sleep. A little more to forget. Over time, it became a quiet trap. She tried to hide it, but her health got worse. Her family kept their distance. She felt tired and lost. One day she remembered the songs her mother used to sing and the stories from the Bible she heard as a child. She walked into a church and cried. She didn't know what to say, but God was there. Slowly, she found her voice again. This time, it wasn't for other people. It was for her. She stopped drinking and started hoping. 27. Alice Cooper. He became famous for wild concerts with snakes and fake blood. Alice Cooper looked like he loved dark and scary things, but that was just a show. Behind the scenes, he was drinking all the time. In the 1970s, he drank whiskey for breakfast and more at night. He got weak and sick. He even coughed up blood. Friends tried to help him, but nothing worked. Then his wife, who believed in God, asked him to go to church. At first, he didn't want to. He thought he didn't belong there. But one day, he gave it a try. Instead of rules, he found kindness. He started reading the Bible and stopped drinking. In that quiet space, he met Jesus. That changed his life. He still performs on stage, but now he has peace in his heart. He has been clean for over 30 years. Not because of rehab, but because of faith. 28. Diane Cannon. She looked like she had it all. Diane Cannon was a big movie star, always smiling in photos and on red carpets. But behind that smile, she was deeply sad. She felt empty inside. To stop the pain, she turned to alcohol. It wasn't for fun. It was to hide. She tried to act like everything was fine, but inside, she was falling apart. One night, she couldn't pretend anymore. She cried. She didn't know how to pray, but she called out anyway. It wasn't a fancy prayer, just a cry from the heart. In the quiet, something changed. She stopped drinking and started reaching for something real. Faith didn't fix everything fast, but it gave her strength to keep going. She found peace, not in fame, but in God. 29. Richard Burton. He was a big star. Richard Burton captured people with how he talked, how he acted, and how strong he seemed in movies. But behind all that, something dark was going on. He drank almost every day. He would come to work tired, slow, and sometimes not fully awake. He always had a bottle nearby. Directors had to change plans because of his hangovers. The actors working with him tried to ignore it. Drinking wasn't just something he did. It followed him everywhere. It caused problems in his work and in his love life. His most famous relationship was with Elizabeth Taylor. They loved each other, but they also fought a lot. Their fights were loud, messy, and often made the news. People watched their lives like a movie, full of drama. As Richard got older, his body started to show the damage. Fame didn't save him from feeling weak and tired. But then, something changed. He didn't talk as much. He started thinking more. He talked about God and forgiveness. He didn't make big speeches, but he did start reading the Bible in private. When he died, a Bible was found next to his bed. In his last days, he seemed to look for something bigger than fame. Maybe he found peace in the end. Maybe he finally heard something true after all the noise. 30. John Frusciante. He was a music star. John Frusciante played guitar in one of the biggest bands in the world. He was young, smart, and full of talent. But while fans cheered for him, John was falling apart. In the early 1990s, he left the Red Hot Chili Peppers. People thought he just needed a break. But the truth was much worse. John was drinking a lot. His house was dirty and falling apart. He was very sick. His friends were scared. They thought he might die soon. He was not living. He was slowly fading away. One night, when he had nothing left, he cried. There were no fans, no music, just him, broken and afraid. He called out to God, not sure if anyone would hear, but something changed. That moment gave him a small light. He went to get help. He went to rehab. He started reading again, not just about music, but about life and God. He began to heal. He came back, little by little. He stopped drinking. He started playing music again, but now the music felt different. It was full of heart. It was full of soul. He doesn't talk much about faith, but you can hear it in his music. He used to play to escape. Now he plays to feel alive.